Hello everybody, Ian Robson, and welcome to our edition of Coffee with Ian. Forgot how much I loved coffee. I never really forget. I just have to remind myself every single time how much I really love coffee. But it's one of those things. You enjoy every cup, even if you drink it every day. The very first cup, every single day, you're just like, so good. Anyways, like I said last week, I only drink coffee like once a week now, so it's on Saturday, strangely enough. So I really, I find that I really enjoy it when I have a cup of coffee. It's kind of nice, actually. So, also, my wife found out how much extra energy I have now when I drink coffee in the morning. I'm already a morning person. So like 5-6 a.m. I'm already awake. But when you don't drink coffee every day, and then you have coffee like on a random day, like Saturday, for example, it feels like you have like double the energy. So like it was 6 a.m. this morning, and I like a little kid jumped in the bed basically for all intents and purposes, but my wife was still asleep. She didn't appreciate it. Anyways, so that's what happens when you have coffee and you don't normally have coffee. You get a lot more energy. It's like, when you first have coffee and you have that huge spike. That's what I feel like when I have coffee now. It's kind of funny actually. So, anyways, I hope everybody has been enjoying Nagsea Valley, which is Bob's map. We're all really enjoying it on the server. Actually, we're doing the beta testing for Bob because he doesn't have access to a server, but we do. So we're just helping him out as best as we can. We have found a few bugs for him already, so that's the whole idea behind beta testing, right? So it's been actually a lot of fun. I think he's done a great job on that map. Actually, he's really done a good job of like mixing a few different aspects on the map, making it all inclusive. The one thing that doesn't have, as far as I can remember, I think he may in the newest version he may have added some. Like a place to sell wood chips and stuff like that. I think he did actually, yeah. He puts a place to sell wood chips because he didn't have that before, because I don't do forestry, so it's not my go-to thing, but some people like doing that, so he's trying to accommodate people as best as possible. He's like me. He's like, it's all grain, that kind of farming. It's no logging at all, but some people like that, so I know Norm likes a little bit of it. Although there are there's a placeable lumber mill you can place down that makes, I think, what does it make? Planks, and I think I can make pallets with it too. I think there might be a combination of things you can get with that. Strangely enough, that is actually multiplayer compatible too, so you could theoretically go that route if you wanted to. It's a placeable, so it's kind of cool. So today, I forgot this. This is the President's Choice Espresso blend today, which is super strong. Well, I guess compared to normal coffee, it feels stronger, but it tastes really nice at least. I don't care if it's espresso, I drink it like coffee, so if I made espresso with it, it'd probably be pretty strong, I imagine, but I don't know if it's intended this way, but that's how we drink it. I know my wife loves this one, and I love this one too, so we just, we do it anyways, basically. So, other big thing that's happened in the world of Farm Sim is Farm Sim 18 has been announced, and I don't think it's released yet, which is for the mobile. So if you want to play Farm Sim on your iPad or on your telephone, I guess your iPhone or whatever it would be, your Android or Apple device, that's the best way to put it. You can do that soon, I think. I'm not sure the exact release date. And apparently they didn't have pigs in it before for some reason, and then they included pigs. They're like, oh, we listened to you guys. We're going to put pigs in. I'm like, I don't know. Why wasn't it in the first place? Anyways. It seemed a bit bizarre, but they're kind of hyping that right now. Giants is, because that's the next big thing for Giants. So I don't know. Looks pretty cool so far. Haven't seen anything. I won't get it. I don't play any games on my mobile at all. Basically, it's lately I've been watching a lot of Star Trek, the original Star Trek on my mobile phone, which is kind of funny because it's like all from the '60s. So you're going back a ways. You're kind of looking at like how the times have changed, because that was like what 50, almost 60 years ago. Almost, yeah, I guess it is almost 60 years ago. We'll say between 40 and 50, depending on what season you're talking about. But it's kind of funny. The graphics aren't there, but you have to be a bit more imaginative when you watch it. But it's still fun to watch. You get to see Captain Kirk, or William Shatner, who is Canadian, I believe. William Shatner's Canadian, eh? Yes. Wasn't sure if my wife was paying attention or not. But yes, he's Canadian, and which is kind of neat. So seeing him in his prime, he still does a lot of stuff actually. He does some comedy, I think now. He does some voiceover stuff, I think now as well. And he's done a couple other movies. There's one called The Captains, which is kind of like where he talks with each of the captains. I don't think he has all of them, but he has a few of them. I think he has Who does he have on that one? I think he has Cisco from Deep Space Nine, and I think he has Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek Next Generation. I don't know if I think there may be one other one he may have. I'm not sure. Of course, himself as well. So, anyways, I like Star Trek. Yeah, if you haven't figured that out. I'm sure I've made quite a few Star Trek references in the past, so if you haven't figured that out yet, well, now you know. Too bad. I love Star Trek. So, I actually made my way through the Enterprise series not too long ago with Scott Bakula. Really good series, actually. It's a shame they only did 4 seasons in that show, but I really enjoyed it, actually. My wife really enjoyed Star Trek Voyager with, what's her name? Catherine Janeway. No, her real name. Anyways, I can't remember her real name, but Captain Catherine Janeway was the name of the character in the movie show. So it was a really good one. I actually like that one a lot too. So one of my favorites, in fact. But you can't get over Jean-Luc Picard. I think Jean-Luc Picard's still my favorite captain, but they do a pretty good job with some other series. They all have like distinct feelings though. Like for example, like Jean-Luc Picard's like by the book, for example, where like Kirk is kind of like he breaks the rules a lot. For example, he does things he's not supposed to sometimes. Janeway has to find the line between, you know, breaking the rules, not breaking the rules, to get her crew back to Earth, sort of thing. So, anyways, it's an interesting combination. Like every captain has their own little flair, which makes it interesting, I find, at least. So, like originally with Deep Space Nine, I didn't enjoy the first couple seasons that much, and then as like the 4th and 5th season picked up, I really started to enjoy the character development they did. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop talking about Star Trek now. Anyhow, I recently just found an interesting game that was promoted by Ag More Than Ever, which is like a agricultural group that promotes agriculture in the world and supports farmers in Ontario and Canada. And the game's called Farmer 2050, and apparently they consulted with educational experts and agricultural experts to try and make it closer to reality than some other games out there, like Farmville, for example. I haven't played the game, but this is only what I read from the article. So the idea is trying to promote the real life aspect of farming, as opposed to, you know, what happens in like Farm Sim, for example. You don't really just magically get all that stuff. You have to take a huge loan out, or you have to inherit it from your grandparents or parents and whatnot. So they skirt around some of the issues in those games, but in this game, apparently, you're supposed to be able to. It's closer to reality, apparently. So, I installed it on my phone and I gave it a go. Take a look at it. It's one of the very few games I'm going to take a look at. My sister-in-law pointed it out to me, so that's the only reason why I even know it exists. So I'm going to take a look at it, see if it's good, see if it's not. I'll let you guys know. But it's kind of it's not a farm sim where you drive tractors and stuff. It's more about managing crops, and like they give you some real life input and stuff. So I don't know. In reality, farming is a very difficult profession, and to get into farming, it's very difficult these days because of the money, the capital investment, basically, which is a big barrier for a lot of people, which is why a lot of people do other things, like they do contracting, for example, or they work for a contractor, and they do a lot of the farming stuff associated with that. So, for example, they will work for a contractor who has all the equipment already, for example. So they're in the farming world, but not necessarily farming themselves. So that's that one aspect, I suppose. So I don't know. Other ways a lot of people get into farming is they inherit it from their parents or grandparents. There was an interesting advertisement not a long time ago, I guess a month or two ago, on Kijiji, which is like Craigslist, basically, where you can post an advertisement for like someone to buy or sell or jobs and whatnot. And the advertisement was this. Basically, the guy was offering his farm for free to use, but you would pay the bills, basically. And you need to try to, it was like an organic farm. You had to love all animals and stuff like that. It was an interesting offer, because it's basically like, you go, he's like letting you use the place, letting you, just basically giving you access to the place, which is something you don't normally get. So you get the experience. And he said he would actually train you on how to do certain things on the farm the farm as well. So for example, if you didn't know how to work with sheep or work with cows or chickens, he would kind of help you with that and kind of educate you, which is something that you don't really get very often. I think in other countries, like I want to say like Europe's not a country. If you go to England, for example, I believe they actually have agricultural programs where you can actually learn to be a farmer, so to speak. And I think they actually have a program on television there called, what's it called? It's a show where you become like, it's like what would be a good example? In North America, we have like the shows where you American Idol, where you become like a pop singer, or they have the same sort of idea except with farmers in England. I forgot what the show's called now, though. Anyways, if you know what the show's called, leave a comment below. But it's kind of like, you know, you go through certain tasks and you learn how to become a farmer and stuff like that, and you kind of have to take some real life aspects into it. Well, everything is real life in that context, where you have to like consider like the cost inputs and stuff like that. It was kind of it was an interesting concept. So it's like reality TV except with farming, so it was a bit more interesting for me. So also, I read an article in Farmers Forum the other day that talked about cover crops, and the guy was talking about his experiences with cover crops and how good or bad they were, which was kind of interesting because for different people they have different perspectives on it. And one of the things he said is it's a long-term game with cover crops, so it's not something you can do and see an immediate result basically, but it's going to be like a long-term goal. So like as you use cover crops more often, your soil health gets better. I'll say it like that, which was it was kind of an interesting point of view basically. So. One of the things he did mention as well in the same article was the fact that if you do tillage, for example, it kind of negates any of the benefits you get from cover crops. So he said no-till is the way to go. That was an interesting article. It was, I think, in that situation he was just doing like a little workshop on cover crops and, you know, choosing the right cover crop. And he actually mentioned a website about choosing the right cover crop. So it's like, what do you want to do with your cover crop? Do you want to do X, Y, Z? And you kind of like filter out, and they'll give you a nice suggestion as to what cover crop you should use. So it was a kind of interesting talk, or an interesting article. Anyways, I'm going to stop it there for now, folks. Hope you enjoyed, as always. If you like what you saw, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And until next time, enjoy the coffee.